This guy's a green zucchini, a gray zucchini. All normal zucchini are green, Coral. That's a bee butt. Hi, friend. I hope I remember to bring my water out here because I'm already dry-throated. Sorry for the finger today. Silver, what? No, red Malabar spinach. I don't know where silver came from at all. Here's our tomato embarrassments. My goodness, I have words. I know how to speak. Most of them are not the prettiest. These have been eaten, I think, by grasshoppers. Hi, I'm Coral. This is Coral Gardens. We're going to take a quick look around the September garden today, see what we still have growing. We are in zone 7B, 8A, so frost should be coming late October. It was a little late last year, so we're fingers crossed again for that. And let's take a look. Good morning, YouTube friends. Today is September 23rd. I'm a little bit late for this garden tour. It's actually my mom's birthday today. My mom died when I was 13 from cirrhosis, secondary to alcoholism. My entire family, in fact, mother and father's side, every aunt, every grandparent struggled with alcohol addiction. One of the reasons I very much avoid it, especially in times of turmoil. But anyway, it's also her twin sister's birthday, who I don't speak to. I don't speak to most of my family anymore. Most of them weren't there for me at all throughout my childhood, growing up without parents. But then also, especially when I had breast implant illness, didn't believe me and were not there for me. So I have an immense family made up of friends that have always been there for me, and I'm so lucky to have them. Anyway, I'll just leave that there, but it's a special day because it's my mom's birthday and I miss her so much. And despite her and my father's alcoholism, he had been sober 10 years when he died. I feel like I had parents that were so beyond amazing. They were so loving, and there's a crow flying by. Sometimes their wings, like when they flap by, are so crazy. Anyway, enough about that. Maybe we'll see some like fun little hummingbirds that I can think are, you know, bringing messages from my mom or something. I had another crow. Speaking of that, sorry, I'll get to the video soon. Yesterday, we were getting in the car and I saw a hawk and multiple crows fighting. I think this is a kind of a common thing in nature, but it's so weird to witness. They were in the air trying to get at each other. Anyway, on to the garden tour. We'll start over here. We got the okra still going over here. Some onions that I think, so I had grown in this pot with a lot less soil in it, maybe 5 or 6 inches onions, and I thought pulled all of them out, but apparently we didn't get all of them and they grew all the way up out of there. So we'll probably harvest those for green onions. I don't think they'll bulb up and get big. There's also green onions growing from seed all around it here. We have our moringa that's surrounded by cilantro that's coming up. We have our zinnias. I think most of them are not the prettiest. These have been eaten, I think, by grasshoppers. But still a little pop of color and flowers for the pollinators, especially the hummingbirds seem to love them. Here's our mint patch, just really filling out that pot. Mint flowers are really pretty. I know that mint spreads by its roots really readily, and you have to be careful of that. And that's why you want to grow it in a pot and not with other things. But I think the seeds may also be problematic, so I probably need to pull those off. Here's another okra. These both have baby okra starting to grow on them right there. You can see those little points. And then we have carrots surrounding him. Another moringa with beets I think those are bull's blood beets. We have our herb pot that's got some purple basil, some Genovese basil, some parsley, some Thai basil, and there was cilantro in here. Something I may think maybe climbed in here and smashed this down because it all went away. And then we have a few chives. I get some pretty good use out of that, but I'm not the most herby. And then in our beautiful waffle garden, Three Sisters waffle garden, everything is crazy. I just edited a video and posted it from like 2 weeks ago, and it looked nothing like this. So it's really fun to me to look back and watch how much it's changing and how quickly. This guy is going all the way out towards our vehicles. There's one beautiful flower with a little baby on the end, waiting to get pollinated. This guy hopefully has enough time to mature before we have any frost happening. There's another little spaghetti squash in here. This guy's given us 3 or 4 already. The corn is about ready to be harvested. Oh goodness. I don't know if that looks like a little hole from the worm. I think it is. I'm gonna harvest this guy right now so that the worm doesn't get further. I don't know for sure if there'll be, feels like there's some kernels, but I don't know for sure. I keep toying with the idea of just pulling all of them and letting them dry because we have had some worm issues. They're best if they can dry on the stalk and not pulling off, especially because I want to use the, husks for the wreath that I'm gonna make, or 2, hopefully 2, 3, 4, if I can get enough out of this garden to make those. I may supplement it with ordering some online if I don't have enough pliable, non-breaking husks, or I probably wouldn't use the corn of somebody else because I love that this is corn I've grown and I love all the different variations. But so this is just pretty much everywhere. It's become impossible to walk through here without being extra careful. 2 more spaghetti squash on that guy. As I've said in many videos, spaghetti squash do very well here. That's the main thing we've pulled out of our garden. One of the main things we've been able to share. Really fun. I think I've harvested most of the corn off those. The beans are really taken over. I don't know what's in the middle of these. There is a chance. I hope there's no watermelons. If there's squash, the squash will probably be fine. But the watermelons we really need to watch. Especially this one was getting real close when I last looked. Okay, so there's one dried up tendril. The other side of it, the tendril is just about dry. I may harvest him today or tomorrow. I don't want him to split and us to lose him. But I think that one looks a little bit like Mr. Peanut with his little skinnier head. Let's see, I know there's a bunch of babies around here. Oh geez, that guy's gotten a lot bigger. He was just tiny in the last video. It's so fun to not be able to walk through here. This is how I dreamed of it. Here comes another little pumpkin. And this guy, there's so many bees around here. I hope they don't get mad at me. In the last video I think I posted, I had one chasing me, which never happens. I was really shocked. They usually like me. Oh, there's another little baby watermelon there. A teeny tiny squash that didn't get pollinated, so we'll take him off so that the plant can focus on the things that did get pollinated. There's 2 more little pumpkin-y guys or squashy guys down there. Gosh, I'm not the most agile in the world. Some pumpkins, still pretty able to stick a fingernail in there, but they're nice and orange. I don't know that I can get through that part without stomping on stuff, so maybe we'll go back around the other way. There's another pumpkin down there. This one's just, he's already put off one that we've collected, and he's just really making, oh yeah, I'm not steady on my feet. Okay. Look at all the corn on that cob. Is there 3 or 4? I think it's just 3, but that's a tiny little stalk to have 3. So many babies that I hope have time. This guy has 2 little babies on him. A little funky deformed guy here. I don't know if that means he didn't get pollinated. I'm learning with watermelons. Sometimes even if they get fully pollinated, they just make weird shapes. There's the arugula with a bunch of bees. Another little tiny baby watermelon over there I'll get to when I get to the trellises. Here's a kaboka squash here. This last one is kind of a sad sight. It's produced 1 spaghetti squash so far. I don't know that these little tiny guys will produce anything more. But this guy does have a oddly shaped spaghetti squash that it looks like it's yellowing up and hard. It'll harden off. I hope I remember to bring my water out here because I'm already dry-throated. Tree's doing okay. We're gonna be putting these in the ground pretty soon because they are not made for pots. This poor little tomato is not looking amazing. It needs to be tied up for one, as do all our tomatoes. I'm a little bit embarrassed by the tomato situation. Sweet potatoes hanging in. A really sad tomato there. Get these little pretty guys still trying to pop things out over here. Some of this I still need to water. I'll probably harvest this sunflower here pretty soon so the birds don't get all those big sunflowers. We can cook them up to eat and or use them as seed. Portulaca is not quite open yet. Oh, now my shadow's gonna be a big pain. It opens usually a little bit further in the day, which is weird. I think it's like 8:30 or 9 now. Here's our garden that was very affected by the gopher. So we have brand new squash coming up. We have a few squash plants, I'm not sure what they are. Like that guy, I don't know what he is yet. Because we kept just planting them as the gopher was taking them. We finally got a gopher. I think there could be more. We haven't really been setting more traps than we need to. This guy's a green zucchini, a gray zucchini. All normal zucchini are green, Coral. This guy looks like he did not get pollinated. See how he's yellowing and squidgy? So you want to get rid of him so that this guy can get a little bigger, and it'll tell the plant to produce more female flowers to get pollinated. These mashed potato squash, there's a whole bunch on. I still don't know what these guys are either, despite their size. There have not been female flowers yet on those two. That's where my son buried the gopher. He put a little stick to mark his grave, I guess. We have some marigolds finally coming up that I planted a long time ago. Whole bunch came up right there. I wish they would have come up here earlier. They could have helped with some things. Here's our tomato embarrassments. I tell the same thing every time, but the two large ones that are falling all over the ground are two that I grew from seed that survived the gopher. The rest were taken by the gopher, and all the plants that look pretty puny are ones we got from our local nursery for half off. And our Chileno that came back from a stick is producing peppers now, so that's really exciting. Not quite ready to pick, but close. I don't have any pockets this time, so it's probably not smart to be harvesting. But yeah, these guys are actually, that looks like a tiny little squat plant, but really, he would be a tall guy if we staked him up like we were supposed to. And usually I'm pretty on top of that, but this season has just been such a struggle to get anything tomatoey to grow, and they're some of my favorites. I actually bought some from a local farm to make tomato sandwiches because my slicers are just looking puny. There's a whole bunch of red ones on that guy I need to get. It's weird to have them laying on the ground. I've never let that happen before, but it is what it is. Sometimes, some of these we attempted to string up, and then the jute twine we bought was not good. Let's harvest the rest of these so we don't forget. Gosh, I wish I had a pocket. I think I have, what do you call it? One of those pouch aprons that I got from kind of a giveaway thing. Like a Secret Santa for garden people. And I gave a couple suggestions, but she got one of those garden aprons, which I've always wanted, so I was excited about. Oh my goodness, there's too many. My hands are too little for this. I need a son around to collect things, and he's at work. Let's see. Okay. At least I got all of those ones. Whee! There's a few slicers over here that I gotta come back and get. Let's go put these on the table. I was gonna not keep you on for the walk, but I guess I could talk about other things. So yeah, breast implant illness, I find I have a lot of online friends who have it, and I have a lot of in real life friends who, me talking about my health and my journey with breast implant illness, got them to realize their health problems were also related to their implants and have explanted. But I have a lot of online friends and just women I've read their stories and haven't spoken to who have lost the majority of their family members over breast implant illness because people do not believe in it, and people tend to not believe women. We know this with sexual assault and with health issues in the past. We know that hysterectomies are named thusly because they say women are hysterical and their uteruses make them hysterical. That's a ongoing wonderful thing. That's so pretty. That's a Chinese melon. But yeah, so it's just really too bad. It's super sad. But again, I feel so lucky that I've always had a group of friends that really just stood by me and were my family throughout my life when I didn't have people. And some of those families, their entire families kind of adopted me in and invited me for holidays and stuff like that. And it's really nice to have that chosen family. So this guy looks like a little sun scalded, maybe? I don't know. I might, and that guy has been eaten on. So we might harvest him. The one bad thing about, I don't care about labels, but when you're growing tomatoes that are not all red, it's hard to know when they might be ripe or not. Oh, geez, these things are so hard to walk through. Okay, let me get this little slicer. These are the first slicers I have harvested all season. I know that's sad and pathetic. That's just the way it is. But hopefully we'll get a few late season. Some bush beans. I'm seeing grasshoppers all the time in the garden. Some amaranth here, eggplant. I see lots of flowers, but I don't see any new babies. Here's a big bell pepper on that guy. Bunch of peppers here. Shoot, I don't want to go back again until I can. There's a red jalapeno we'll get. These jalapenos have been very small. I think in the past I've grown Craig's Giant or Jumbo or something. And those are a little bit bigger. There's a few chilenos that need to be harvested. Oh, yeah. I don't want it to like pull the plants down. They're already struggling. Whew. Every time I took the shade cloth off and things seem to be happening quickly. Oy, I might just set you down with me and harvest these. Well, I keep wanting to. They're full, these shishitos, but they're so small. I know I'm going to have a bunch to make a little appetizer out of, but I think there's probably enough on here now. As they get a little bigger, they start drying up, so probably best to pick them right before we're going to use them, and I just have to remind my son. Okay, I don't remember what I was talking about, but let's keep going along with these. So this has been my best pepper year. I know these are a little bit pathetic to be calling me best, but I've struggled with peppers. And our tomatillo, one bush is pretty much dead. One's looking good, but we're not going to get tomatillos off it if the other one isn't making tomatillos, so they're a little bit of a lost cause. I think the amaranth sucked all the life out of them. I'm going to be a lot more careful to pull it out, the amaranth. I kind of thought, oh no, they could grow together, it'll be okay, and it's not. I think it's time to harvest all this corn. This is sweet corn. It's very aphid infested. I'm gonna really try a lot harder with sweet corn next year because the few that we have gotten have been amazing. But you're supposed to harvest sweet corn when the tendrils dry out, and these have been dried. So, do you see that other little grasshopper down there? They're everywhere all the time. That guy's not gonna be anything. Let's see, I think I saw at least one more. Oh yeah, here's one. Oops. And I broke the stalk, but it's fine because they're just done. So it is what it is. Okay. And then we got a stalk down. Let's see. These little late coming up cucumbers might have time to make something. Oh, here's a Tanya's pink potted bush bean. I love these. I love how pink they get. And they're really delicious too, actually. One of my favorite flavored beans. And I got those from Jess at Roots and Refuge. Look how this guy's growing into the pot. And I have one growing up the trellis. I've been pulling a pretty fair amount of cucumbers off of these guys. Again, best cucumber harvest ever. A little sad because they are not amazing, but there are certain things that are going to do well in certain areas. You also might have to find different varieties that are compatible with your soil and weather. There's what we got so far, excluding a pumpkin. I harvested those the other day. I really wish I would have brought my water out here. But here is the kind of wild arugula patch that the bees feast on. And it should be dying back a little bit here soon, and then hopefully we can contain it and harvest a bunch over the winter when it's really good. We'll look at the trellises now. I don't want to step on any bees. The beans are finally all starting to produce. Most of them are climbing a lot better. It really is weather dependent with beans, guys. If you have a really hot full sun garden, they're just not gonna do it. Long beans are a good exception. I think next year all the ones that have reached the top here are long beans. I think next year I'm just gonna do long beans and red Malabar spinach. I don't know where silver came from at all. Some more green beans are finally, I've harvested a bunch. I was actually gonna try and make it to the farmer's market a few days ago because I thought I had enough to sell finally. And I wasn't feeling up to it. So, especially carrying all the things by myself because my son was at work. Lately it's on Fridays, and lately Fridays I've been doing a lot during the week, and then I just feel done. I don't know, that guy looks unhealthy. I might just pop him off. Maybe it's just the flower around him. Maybe I'll leave him. Give him a chance. These are rattlesnake pole beans with the little markings on them. Yesterday I pulled off there's another kind of bigger one there. Maybe I'll pick that one. I might eat these for lunch. There's some Malabar spinach down here starting. They're so cute. Do you see the little flowers? I'll show you better flowers on the other side. These are a little bit small to harvest. Oh, there's a nice big long green bean. Not quite thick enough yet, but there's a ton on that one now. A little tiny bit of leaf miner. I haven't seen much of that this year at all. There's another long bean to harvest. And this one, although it's small, looks like that's about as big as it's gonna get, and it's only gonna get too wide and cliffy to eat. Oh, there's those flowers I was telling you about. Oh geez, that's a big old green bean. Oh no, that one's probably too big to really eat, but we'll see. Oh, I did not see these. These were hiding. Holy smokes. I'll get this guy, who should be harvested for seed now, because this is a long bean that got too far. He's soft. Oh, there comes popping out a bean already, just barely pushing on him. So we'll leave those out here to dry. And the rest of the stuff we'll bring in. This big huge bean and this big huge bean might also be a seed bean. And ideally you want to let those dry, but I don't want these to on the vine, but I don't want these to think they're done and not produce more beans when they're finally making beans for me. I was not prepared for that. Look at all these beautiful flowers though on the red Malabar spinach. There's a little teeny tiny Cherokee Trail of Tears. There's another one. The flowers are really pretty on those too. Okay, this one are median yard long cucumbers. This plant is one of the least healthy. It has a lot of aphids but also has a lot of aphid eaters like ladybug larvae and lacewing eggs. So we're protecting and just kind of going with the flow. We had that big silver Yamato we followed and had in the t-shirt. I need to take that off. Here's another one that's gonna need support soon. And then this other little guy on the ground. Everybody could really use a feed, I think, at this point too. So I'll probably try and do that in the next few days. Here's a little cantaloupe and a watermelon getting pretty big. I'm glad he's on the ground because he looks like he's gonna be too big to be supported. Yeah, I did see another melon over here. I think that's a cantaloupe type. Could be a Charantius. Look at how tiny that little baby melon is right there. Oh, and there's some Kajaris. Oh, good. So everybody had a initial round, and then in the worst heat, they kind of died back a little bit, and we're just kind of struggling to keep going, and now they're producing again, so that's fun. These guys were some of the last planted. I think that's another spaghetti squash. A little bit too much spaghetti squash. Wait till you see the other side. Here's a Lakota squash. And I think this one's a kaboka. I love kaboka squash. Here is that beautiful spaghetti squash I was talking about. Just climbing the heck out of the trellis. We have harvested 6 off of this already. And it's got huge, oh, I broke a leaf. Might as well take him off. Oopsie, nope, maybe not. It's too pokey to cut with my fingers and too strong to pull off the vine. So we'll just let him hang there. There's a bee butt. Hi, friend. Oh, I forgot to say that. Butterscotch, I think. Squash. And then lastly on this side we have that Chinese melon that I was showing you the flowers. They're so pretty. And the leaves and the stems are really soft. You know, a lot of squash is pokey. These have those fine hairs, but they don't try and kill you. Here's a little butternut with a couple little tiny guys. These guys are just starting to really harden off. Oh, there's another baby there. The tomato from over here is really starting to try and trellis up on this trellis. My goodness, I have words. I know how to speak. There's a lot of plane noises here today. I don't usually have to deal with those here. When we were in Monterey, we lived right next to the airport, and in the flight path, like, it would shake our house bad. There's a little Jack B. Little pumpkin and a big old kaboka. I know I've seen him a little bit crusty like this in the grocery store. I worry about him a little bit. He looks a little more crusty than some I've seen. And the way that stem is, I don't know. Do you guys know anything about this? Is that like a vine borer? I don't know, that'd be pretty crazy. I've never seen one go that close to the fruit. They're usually at the base, and we haven't seen any here. I need some wood. Oh, this guy actually should be climbing this pretty far up if he was doing what he needs to do. Let's see if we can help him a little bit. Lost a flower, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, that's not bad. Oh, we found another that hasn't been pollinated, so we'll try and get in there without getting stuck by the spines too much. And then this little guy is a loofah. The other ones, it's had several flowers now. The other ones seemed smaller than this and squidgy and weren't growing, and I took them off. That guy was growing quite a bit. Now he's squidgy, but I think I'll just leave him on. Next year, I think I will grow an entire trellis, or a side of a trellis at least, with just these loofah gourds, because I love the leaves. They're so pretty. And I think it would be really fun to sell some loofahs and stuff too. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. A little more somber, I guess, than I usually am, but I'm really happy with the garden. I'm really excited that I feel like every year we're continuing to learn more, and I'm getting better and better at working this land and improving its soils and getting better harvests. So hopefully I can continue to do that, and we can be ready to farmers market and share with friends even more next year and earlier next year. We'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Like and subscribe.